You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and that notification button to let you know when new episodes drop. We got win totals dropped on Wednesday, and the Oklahoma Sooners are looking at a win total of 7.5. We've seen in several different sports books. Jay, what do you think of that number?
That sounds about fair. Kind of what a lot of people expected for us to have the similar number as last year. The big question with Oklahoma still is what's going to happen on the offensive line? What is the quarterback play going to be? What's the wide receiver going to play? Heck, what's up with the offense? And so I thought that was a very fair number when I saw it starting to float around. I don't anticipate that number staying there for very long. I actually expect Vegas to shoot that number up a lot higher. So as much as I would like to say that, Oklahoma's being done dirty. Nah, these are just preliminaries. Like most of the big books still haven't dropped theirs because they're still trying to evaluate what the returning production and stuff's going to look like. So to me, probably around spring ball is when we'll have a really good understanding what that number is going to be. And man, if I can find this 7 somewhere when I'm out in Vegas in March, I'm definitely going over.
The thing I think that's going to have some people somewhat skeptical about Oklahoma's chances to hit the over at 7 or 7.5 in 2025 is that schedule.
Fair.
The schedule's tough. I mean, just like we talked about with Florida, the schedule is tough again for Oklahoma. You still have Michigan, you got Texas, you've got South Carolina, and you go to South Carolina this time, so you get to go be a part of Sandstorm. You go to Alabama this time. You go to Tennessee. You've got Texas. You've got Ole Miss coming to your building. You've got Auburn coming to your building. LSU coming to your building. The schedule is going to be tough. And unless Oklahoma is able to make significant strides on offense and show that in the first 4 or 5 games of the season, it's going to be hard to expect them to win 8 or 9 games. Now, that's my expectation, that they win 9 games next year, be pushing for a playoff spot. But will they is going to be the question. I mean, can they figure out the offensive line situation enough that John Mateer is going to have enough time to throw and enough space to run, and that they can get a complementary run game going in addition to what John Mateer is able to provide? I think sitting at 7 is probably about right, because I think that's where the question lies, right? They were a 6-win team in the regular season this year, and they had a few games that could have gone either way. The Ole Miss game looked promising until you got to the fourth quarter. The Tennessee game, you don't fumble the ball at the 5-yard line, and who knows what that game looks like. You got the big win over Alabama. The Missouri game, you gave away the Missouri game. So I can totally see getting over that 7 and that 7.5. But as I'm going to repeat till I'm blue in the face and you're sick of hearing it, I got to see him do it. I got to see him prove it until I can just be really sure that they're going to go and win 9 games. You go beat Michigan at home and you do it with a resounding offensive performance, I'll feel a lot more confident about where this team is headed. You beat Auburn in your building again, I'll feel really good about where this team is headed. Shoot, you go beat Texas, then you'll have me bought in on them hitting that over. But right now, it's just like, I got to see them do it. And I got to see the pieces that they brought together that, hey, I understand why people have some questions about the pieces that they brought in on the offensive side of the ball, aside from John Mateer.
Yeah, there's a few components that you got to see, just like I said, come together. If we see them gel, I think we'll be fine. I think the other interesting numbers on here, 10.5 was for Georgia and Texas. Look, I mean, I'm trying to be a hater here, while at the same time trying to understand. People really sold on Georgia and Gunnar Stockton right now? Like, it's nothing against him. I'm just curious, are we truly sold on him so far? That Tennessee at 9.5, kind of sketchy. But Bama and Ole Miss both at 9, though. Didn't both of them lose their quarterbacks, and they're kind of revamping a lot of stuff? Now, Ole Miss has lived in the portal for the 3rd straight year. And being in the portal for the third straight year has yet to really, pay dividends that we would expect it, but they're still getting 9-win seasons, 10-win seasons. I can totally understand the 9 there, but what body of work has told us that with any of these teams that they should be at their number? I think LSU's probably the only one I expect to be 8.5. I expect them to be up because, they're returning that quarterback this is 5th year. So this is 5 years for him at quarterback there. And I was on our squad show talking about this, John, and I got a little bit of attacked. And let me explain to you what I said. Said Garrett Nussmeier, everybody sold on him, threw 4,000 yards last season. Cool. I don't know if he's a world beater yet. And I only said that because he's been there 4 years. This is his first time starting. And the transfers had come in and took in his job numerous times. Jaden Daniels got it. Granted, Jaden Daniels ended up winning a Heisman, but Nussmeier was there with him. He did grow and he evolved. He got better. Michael Van Buren is also transferred there. Is there a chance that Van Buren may, try to push him out the way? I don't know. Not saying he will. Just saying. I have questions about Van Buren going there when he has so many other places he could have went and been a starter. Heck, he could have stayed Mississippi State and been a starter. We'll just have to see. But if anything, John, I'm curious. 10.5, 9.5? A little sketchy for Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee?
Yeah. The Georgia-Texas thing, I would not feel incredibly comfortable putting them at 10 or at 11 wins. So these are regular season win totals. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me to hit the over, Georgia and Texas got to go 11-1. Texas could because their schedule is soft. Again,
Ohio State to start, though.
They got Ohio State, but then after that, but again, it's not going to be the same Ohio State team, right?
Fair. It could be another $20 million team.
Texas is getting the benefit of playing the quote unquote defending national champion for the second year in a row. That is going to be a shell of the team that actually went and won the national championship.
Don't you love it?
But everybody's going to watch Texas go into that game. Texas Longhorns against the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. That's going to be the buildup all offseason. And if they win that game, it's going to be Texas beats the defending national champion, albeit they don't have a lot of the guys on that team that made them the national champion. So Texas could go 11-1 because of their schedule. Georgia, we'll see. But they'll play each other, and that will have a big impact on which of those teams hits that 11 win. If you're buying the over, which I would not, I just don't know if either of those teams can hit 11 wins next year. Tennessee, I think, has a chance to get the 10 just because, again, I believe in Josh Heupel, and I think Nico is a good quarterback. And then Alabama at 9, to me, that's an under. I just don't know. You underachieved with Jalen Milroe as your quarterback, and now you're going to a first-year starter at quarterback. I like Kalen DeBoer, but are they going to be better than what they were last year? I don't know. I don't think so.
So many questions. I've got so many questions. I got so many questions on both.
I talked about college football just kind of being really wide open for 2025. The SEC might be pretty wide open for 2025 too. I'm not going to sit here and predict that Oklahoma goes on a run and wins the conference, but you look at what everybody is losing. Why not? Why not OU? And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube, where he's covering all of college football over there. Follow me at John 9 Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. Follow the show on social media at Locked On Sooners, wherever you like to ply your social media craft. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner. 10.5.